Behold ye among the heathen. All praises goes unto Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom, meaning peace. May that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom. So this is Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth, for the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. And that's where we see ourselves stood in this time. Okay, we, the Israelites, holistically as a nation, are actually the righteous. Even them that are wicked, we're still known as the righteous as a people, because we are the people that are supposed to be righteous, right? But the Lord did create a wicked, right? So the Lord made all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil, paraphrasing. So the Lord did make us to be righteous, but a lot of us are slipping up. I don't just mean slipping up, a lot of us are living in sin, right? Willfully transgressing. Whether they admit there's a creator or not, the majority of our people do not abide by the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. We're not saved by the law, but we have to establish the law through faith. Okay? So it says, Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth, for the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Right, so that's why there's no true judgment in the earth. Right, you've got Eve that's got his certain statutes. He will, for example, if you murder, you get put to death in certain instances. Certain things do take place according to the law, but for a lot of it, adultery you can get away with, right? Idolatry, witchcraft, all of this you can get away with. There's nothing against it. But why is that? Because the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Okay, because they're in rulership and they're superseded the nation that's supposed to be in rulership, the nation that's supposed to be righteous and teach true lawfulness to them, to the whole earth, that is. Okay, verse 5 says, Behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told you. And we, right, as the Israelites, are scattered among the heathen, among these other nations. Holistically, it seems to be my new favorite word. We're not in the land. You've got certain Israelites up in Dimona, but they're keeping a different they're sort of keeping Judaism. Okay, they're keeping vegan Judaism. That's what that is. That's why they call them African Hebrew Israelites rather than Hebrew Israelites, or they like to call us Black Hebrew Israelites. Right? They make a clear distinction, because the main ones that E is upset with, is crying about, is having nightmares about, are the ones of One West. Right? The truth came out of One West. All this, all nations can have an inheritance. All nations put us in slavery, but all nations can have an inheritance with us when we put the rest of these nations in slavery, starting with Yahawashi. Which, that's ridiculous. All these nations oppressed, spoiled us, took spoil, took captives of us, but they're going to get to be co-heirs when the Lord gives the kingdom unto Israel and subjects these other nations. That's crazy. All right, but the Lord says, "For I will work a work in your days which you will not believe." And the work in this time, the work that is still to come, of Yahawashi coming to take down all these kingdoms, principalities, powers, that's going to be the mightiest work. Right? That's going to be like the Passover again, but even more mighty. Because this time, when Israel's kingdom is established, which is in an intermissionary period, right, from the time of Solomon until now, it was set up, that was prophesied by Nathan, right, unto David or Dawada. Right, it was prophesied that his son, Solomon, would set up a kingdom. Right, it says, and if he commit iniquity, then he will be hit with the stripes of men and let me see it. Let's just go to it. 2 Samuel chapter 7, starting at verse 12, I believe. Yeah, it says, and when thy, let's get the context. Right, verse 4. And it came to pass that night that the word of Yahawah came unto Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, thus saith Yahawah, shalt thou build me an house for me to dwell in? Okay, because ultimately the Lord made all these elements, right? So for us to build a temple unto him, like he's going to come and dwell in it, we're the temple. We're his finest creation. The Israelites are the Lord's most beautified creation. So for the temple, it says 1 Corinthians 3:16, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you. Okay, so when we gather in the name of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, there he is in the midst. All right, we don't need to build any carnal buildings. So 2 Samuel 7 and verse 12 says, so this is the key point I want to touch on. It says, and when thy days be fulfilled, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, meaning to rest, to die, for the flesh to perish. I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thine house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. Okay, so it was set up forever, but now we're in an intermissionary period. So it was Solomon, right? And that's why it says, if he commit iniquity, I was chastened with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. Now Solomon, it's well known Solomon committed iniquity, right? 1 Kings chapter 11, he went unto certain women, of which it was written, ye shall not take them unto your sons, or give them to your daughters, paraphrasing. Deuteronomy 7, that is, the certain Canaanite nations, 7 nations. But Solomon did that. So he was, what does it say? He was chastened with the rod of men, right, when he came back as Yahawashi. So Yahawashi in the incarnation as Yahawashi, he didn't commit iniquity. But prior to that, in his past life, he did. So that's why he was chastened with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. So it was for all the Israelites' sins, right? But only the elect will profit upon this side. Then Hebrews chapter 9. Where does it say? For this he did once. Hebrews 7 and 26 says, for such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who needeth not daily, as those high priests, so it's talking about the ancient time under the Levitical order. So Yahawashi needeth not daily, you don't need to do this daily, as those other high priests to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, right? That's what the Levitical priests would do, first for their own sins. It says first for his own sins and then for the people's. For this he did once when he offered up himself. Right, so that shows you there, he did once what? He did once first for his own sins, and then for the people's that he did once. Right, so for his past lives. Not that he sinned as Yahawashi, but in his past lives, because it says this he did once. Right, so all of that he did once. And that's the one who's going to bring this wondrous work. Right, that itself, the sacrifice was an amazing work. A marvelous work. Okay, but there's going to be an amazing work, which is going to be our deliverance, right? That's going to go down in history. Okay, and we're going to have a new celebration for that. So Habakkuk 1 and 5, behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told you. And applying it to now, there's going to be a great persecution upon Jake, but somehow, some way, we're going to make it out. Lord willing will be those that make it out. It says that day is great, none is like it, is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. However, not every Israelite will be saved out of it. When you pair it up with its precept, it says, through thy precepts I get understanding. When you pair it up with Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1, it says, that time thy people shall be delivered, right? Everyone that should be found written in the book of life. Okay, so that's dealing with the elect of the nation of Israel. They're the ones that are going to get redeemed. So Lord willing, will be of that number. But it's going to be a great, marvelous work that will go down in history, this deliverance, this salvation. Jeremiah 16 and verse 15. Sorry, 16 and 14 through 15. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahawah, that it shall no more be said, Yahawah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahawah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I'll bring them again into the land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahawah, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them, from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. So these that are on high, these elites, they're going to be trying to hide from the wrath of the Lord. Okay, but there is no way. A lot of Jake thinks they can hide from the Lord as well. Well, Babylon's getting destroyed. So if I leave Babylon, maybe I won't get destroyed. If the Lord wants you destroyed, he'll find you. You could be in Botswana, Kentucky, Bangladesh, wherever you are. If the Lord has you marked, you'll get it. Okay? So the Lord's going to send for them hunters, right? So the angels, which are going to do some great, mighty works upon these people, man. The Lord willing, not us. Right? The great and mighty works we want the angels to carry out. For us is that deliverance through Yahawashi. Because it even says when they get caught up, the remnant were affrighted. Okay? It also says know ye not that the righteous shall be scarcely saved. So it's going to be dire for them that are of the elect. You know, it's going to be close. You might even start thinking, oh man, you know, maybe I won't make it. And then bang, you know, last second, last millisecond. That's called being scarcely saved. And then it says, so where will the ungodly and the sinner appear? Okay, so the Lord's going to get busy, man. Matthew 24, I think I'll end it here. Matthew 24 and verse 31. No, Matthew 24 and 29. The light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So everyone's going to see it. It's not going to be some bugged out dreadlock staff wielding guy, you know, saying, oh, come here, you know, I've got the truth, I am the Messiah. Everyone's going to know. There's not going to be any doubt, right? Non-believers of these other nations will be turning to believers in that day, because they say seeing is believing. We walk by faith, not by sight, but to this world, seeing is believing. So everyone's going to have to accept it at that point. Like as it's written, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Yahawashi is Hamashiach. Yahawashi is the anointed. There's not going to be any question. Verse 31, last verse. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. I read that once more because I slipped up. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So that is going to be a great, marvelous, wondrous work. Right, and that's what we're waiting on. So although the law is slacked, you know, although we're catching hell in this man's system under his rulership, there's something beyond this, and we always need to remind ourselves of that. You know, and push it out. Push out that kingdom spirit. Keeping our eyes single. There's so many distractions. We need to keep in this word and be active. You can't stay stagnant as well. If you're not growing, you'll shrink. So I'll leave it there. On to the next video, Lord willing. I pray it was edifying, exhorting. Nawathan kal halalyam la Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi bahasham Ruach Kodesh. Shalom.